Thanks everyone for joining me for the first of another series of coffee travel chats. And today's topic is left my heart. So it's 2020, the end of 2025, and many of us have been busy traveling. I've got my co-host Laurie with HLO Tours, who I've personally traveled with to Egypt, and she has a great story. And she's always traveling. I've seen some great photos this year, so it gives us a chance to catch up. Um, and I hope that you'll join us on future episodes. These get posted on Facebook, Meetup. I have a newsletter, so hopefully you'll find us. So let's share today's topic. So, traveler, I'll let you. Do you have a place that you went this year or a place that you left your heart in the past that you'd like to share about?
Well, I've had a few places, but this particular year was pretty unusual. I went to Greece with my daughter in a couple of months ago, and we were going to leave September 27th back home. So 3 days before we were going to leave, I get a text from a friend who had just retired, a teacher, and very unusual. I hadn't seen him in 20 years, but a dear friend. And she texted me, she says, I have scheduled this European tour for a month with my husband, but he's unable to go because he's sick. Can you go? And this is 3 days before we leave Greece to come to California. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's a chance of a lifetime.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's
so I'm thinking, okay, my kids are grown and I'm analyzing everything in my head. Okay, do I need to be home? Not really. I talked to my family, said, go for it. So my daughter we go to the airport together. She goes to California and I went to Amsterdam and
oh,
waited for my friend there until the tour started, 5 days. So I ended up in Haarlem in the Netherlands and I just love that place. I stayed there for about a week until she came and I loved it. I walked all around. I took some tours by myself. I took the train by myself for the first time, which was adventurous for me.
For you.
And then I went to Amsterdam, looked at some beautiful places, and so it was quite. I just got back a little bit ago, about 2 weeks ago.
oh wow,
So I was
fabulous.
gone for about a month and a half, not planned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So
that's amazing. And good for you
it,
taking
it
that
was
step of spending time alone and
yeah, that was really nice. And then the tour got there 5 days later, and then we traveled by bus all through Europe. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That sounds amazing. I would love
it
to do
was
that.
amazing. Unexpected and unplanned, and it was just perfect. Yeah.
right. And September you said or October you just got back in October here like
Yes, the 28th. Hmm.
right. So you got the fall colors, less
Yes,
people. It wasn't
exactly.
as crowded. That's
But
perfect.
it was a little cold for me, but it was okay. It was doable.
Ah, you could buy a sweater, right? Or
Yeah,
jacket.
I did buy a sweater.
There you go. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. So Harlem, I loved it. Went by Switzerland again, which I really that's one of probably my favorite country.
Mhm.
But Harlem to go back and spend a couple of weeks, it was pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. So where did you stay? Was it like a hotel that week? Was it like a Airbnb?
This was a Rick Steves tour. So it was very planned and hotels and bus and a beautiful bus. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
So and
Well, thanks for sharing that. I mean, what a great
Oh,
time
I'm
to be
envious.
there. Right.
I
I mean,
am
too. And
envious.
sometimes those are the best trips, the ones that you weren't really sure about or took a chance
exactly.
on and
The
Hmm.
spur of the moment. You don't have time to overthink it and
right,
just
exactly.
And especially on the luggage part, I'm
Yes.
thinking I usually travel with a medium-sized suitcase. What if I can use this? I might need this. This time I just the basic, my traveling pants, my shirts, it was in a duffel bag, and that's what I did buy a little suitcase to put
yeah.
extra things in there, but that's all I did. We can do it.
Yep.
Yes.
It can be
Absolutely.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. That's great.
Oh, that's fabulous. So Lori, I know you've been all over, and I know the topic of left my heart has a dual meaning for you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually leave my heart. I brought my heart
Yeah,
back.
there you go.
I I had my mom and I went, my sister was living in Israel at the time. This is 41 years ago.
Wow.
Um, and my mom was an art teacher, and she had a grant from her art museum to learn about Egyptian art, and then she was going to teach it to the kids when she got back. So she said to me, "Would you like to come with me? I don't have anybody to go with." And she said, "All you have to do is pay for your airfare, and the grant is covering the hotel because it's for two, it's one person, two person, it's the same
Right.
cost." And she had a Nile cruise, and so I said, "Yes, of course, why not?"
Yeah.
So I went, and we visit my sister, and then we went and took a plane over to Egypt, and we didn't have a tour operator or anything. We just did it by ourselves, and we did a taxi. And I I was a little adventurous when I was 26 years old. I was a lot more adventurous than I probably am now. So we took a taxi, and I said, "Well, I want to ride a camel." So we found one of the camel people, and they took us. Usually, what they do is they take you around the pyramids, and it's a very short tour. Well, ours took us out into the middle of the desert. I mean, we were gone for close to 2 hours.
Oh my
An
gosh.
hour there, yeah, we were gone a long time. An hour there, and it was just like my mom and I and the camel guy,
Right.
guy. And so my mom's getting very nervous, like, "Oh my God, they're going to take us out to kill us." I said,
Yes.
"Don't worry about it. We'll be fine." Stop the camel in the middle of the desert, and they said, "Oh, my camel can't go any further. He needs some bakshish, which means tips."
Right.
So,
Money.
so the camel kind of got down, and so
Oh no.
yeah, in order to get back, we gave them money, which was fine. It was part of the experience, that everything is cheap there. So, got back on the camel and went back to the pyramids area, and I had a blast. I don't know. My mom was probably a little nervous, but it was the best experience because I've never had a camel ride like that since. Usually they just take you around the pyramids, and this
That's
one was
good to
like
know.
actually going out. It's like you're a camel rider. It was.
Right.
So we did our typical things. We went and saw the pyramids, and we went to the Egyptian museum, and then it was time for us to go to the Nile cruise, which we went on. And my mom will not, no matter what, she goes on every single tour. So she's up at like 5:30 in the morning, and she's older, and she got sick, and she always gets sick when we went on a
Oh
trip. So she
no.
got sick
How
towards
old
the
is your
end of it.
mom?
Well, at that time, she was probably in her 60s, early 60s.
Okay.
But she's very active, and I mean that's not old. 60s isn't old, but I was 26, so for me that was
Yeah.
that was old. And we went to Abu Simbel, and by that time she was really sick. By that time,
Oh.
but she
Oh.
dragged herself to it. She would not stay back. She dragged herself to Abu Simbel. We got back on the plane. We get to the airport in Cairo, and we just need to get to our hotel. We were leaving, I think, in another day. And in those days, Egypt Air had two different airports. They had the
Oh.
international airport, and then they had the local airport. And since we flew locally, we were in the local airport, which means it's all Egyptians there, and nobody
Yes.
spoke English, and there was no taxi that you could go and say taxi, and there was no Uber.
Right.
There was, so
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how we were going to get from the airport to our hotel. But we met a family on the Nile cruise who was going to the same hotel as us. And
Okay.
I asked them if they would, if I said, "Oh, how are you getting to the hotel?" And they said, "Oh, well, we have a service. They have a van. They're going to take us." And I said, "Do you think they would mind taking us along? It's only two of us." I
Right.
said, "We'll pay you for it. We don't care." And they said, "Oh yeah, just ask the guy over there." So I went over and asked the guy over there, and I said, "Would you mind? We're going to the same hotel as these people." And they said it was okay. we don't do that kind of thing. This is a private tour. They paid for a private tour. And I said, oh, I said, well, they did say that we could come with them. So I had to go back over to the people who were getting annoyed at this point, like, we told you you could come. And
Right.
so he said, okay, loads us on there. And meanwhile, he's like giving a tour of everything that, when you're in a taxi, you don't get all that. So he's every place we're going, this is the tomb of the unknown soldier, this is that, this is that. And there were two girls in the band that were probably about 15 and 17, and they're flirting with him. And, oh, are you married? He goes, no, I have no time to get married. Um, and I'm listening. I didn't say anything, just listening to the whole thing. And I'm thinking, he's kind of cute. So,
Yeah.
so he, so he dropped us off, and I figured, like a taxi driver, here's your luggage, go check in. He took our luggage, he checked us in, he got us our room keys, and they sent my mom to the room, so she could lay down. And I'm still overhearing everything. Like they were going to a belly dancing place that night. And I thought, oh, I really want to see that. And I knew my mom wasn't going to go. So I heard where they were going, and I met another person on the Nile cruise who was staying at the Sheraton. And I called him up and I said, hey, do you want to meet me at this belly dance place? And he took a taxi. I took a taxi. We met up. And there's the tour guide and the other family. And the driver is going, hey, that's that same girl. He said, invite her to sit with us. So he invited us to sit with him. And at that point I smoked. So he's like giving me cigarettes and stuff. And after the belly dancing, I was going to take a taxi back. He says, no, come back with us. And the other guy took his taxi back to his hotel. So I said, oh, okay. He took us back to the hotel. I waited for the family to leave. And then I said, would you like to go and get a cup of coffee?
But this is with
The
the
tour operator.
driver.
No, not the driver, not the tour operator. The guy
Oh,
that told me that we could not go on that tour because it was
okay.
private. And so he says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I have to go home. It was a Ramadan and he had to have breakfast, break the fast with his family. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. And he said, but how about tomorrow? I said, oh, no, we're leaving tomorrow. And he said, oh, no, don't leave, don't leave. I said, I have to, my ticket, I can't not leave. Give me your passport, give me your ticket. I'll change it for you. And I said, what about my mother? He said, we'll send a driver for her. She'll get to the airport, no
Oh,
problem.
dear.
And, there's my little mind thinking, this is a once in a lifetime thing. I will never, what is the worst that can happen? He takes my ticket, he takes my passport. I'll go to the American embassy, get another passport, and I can get another ticket. I mean, I wasn't thinking about him killing me at all. I just thought,
Yeah.
that's the worst thing that could happen. And all I knew was his first name. I didn't know anything about him. I knew the tour company, but I didn't know anything about him. And I thought, yeah, okay. Send my
That's
mom back.
brave. That is
That was brave.
brave.
It was brave or stupid. I don't know. But when I told my mom, she was not happy. And she got on the phone. She said, I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police. I said, no, Mom, it's fine. So we sent her back to Israel. And she's like all upset because this is a very independent woman, by the way. She was like the bra burner and the women's
Yeah.
liber and everything like that. And she said, well, I don't know how I'm going to get back to the kibbutz. I said, you go to the bus station and you just ask the people there to get you a ticket to this place, and then you catch another bus that goes up to the kibbutz. It's very easy, 2 stops, that's it. So when she made it back, and when she got off the bus, my sister said, where's Laurie? And they said, she stayed in Egypt with some man. So I ended up spending a week there. He was a very nice guy. He changed my ticket, gave me back the passport, nothing happened. And he proposed on the 3rd day. Yeah,
Wow. No
yeah, he did.
way.
Yeah, he proposed on. So then he took me to the village to where his mom
Yeah.
lived, and they're like sneaking me in, and I don't know why they're sneaking me in. They put like coats over my head and snuck me into the room. He was engaged to the girl next door, like literally the
Oh.
house next to his. he was engaged to be
Oh.
married to her. And
Oh.
after he met me, he broke off the engagement. So
And
that
how old was he, roughly? How old at the
he
time?
was, I was 26, so he was 32. So he was
Wow.
a bachelor.
It was
And
love at first sight.
it was love at first sight. He was,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I never met anybody like him.
you
Um,
just clicked.
it did, yeah. And 41 years later, even though, we kill each other, but we're
Oh,
still
you
married.
married him?
Oh, I married him. Yeah, yeah. I ended up going back to Egypt. I went home after the
Okay.
week, and I ended up coming back to Egypt in September because that was in June. I spent the summer in Massachusetts and went back to Egypt in September and married him and ended up
Oh.
staying there for a year with him, which I'm glad I did because it gave me an idea of his culture, which I don't think our marriage would have
Yeah.
worked if I didn't know, I wouldn't have understood why he does the things he does.
Right. Yeah.
It's a different culture, we're used
Yeah.
to one thing. So, and I met his family, family's wonderful. We stayed with his family the whole time and just, yeah. So then he came back here after a year. It took me a year to convince him to come back here. I said, why do I marry the only Egyptian that doesn't want to come to America? Every other
I,
Egyptian they propose to you, come marry me, take me back to America, but not
Right.
him.
that
So
is an
yeah,
amazing story.
it is.
It
So we have
And
two
it's a
kids.
real story. Oh my
It's a love
goodness.
story, yeah. It's a love at first sight story. So it does happen.
And
Wow.
Hamdi is amazing. He's just such a warm
Yeah,
gentleman. And so, for anyone who wants to go to Egypt, I just think it's the best experience. He knows
yeah,
so much, but he also knows how to communicate with
yeah,
Americans and make you feel comfortable and at home because it is such a different place. I mean,
yeah,
I was blown away. You're getting in little carriages with people that,
mhm,
they can't speak the language. They don't know what you're doing. And you feel like you're in some movie set and you could be hustled off to Never
yeah.
Never Land. But no, they
The
get you.
Egyptian people are truly wonderful people.
Yeah,
They love
that's,
Americans, and they are just the kindest people in the world. You hear about all this stuff, and you only hear the bad side of like these
yeah.
We
extremists. But
always
that's
do.
not the
Yeah.
Egyptian. The Egyptian, they have what, 8 million people or 10 million people in Cairo alone. So
Wow.
it's just you get a few of them that are bad apples that you hear about, but the
Right.
other 7,900,000 are wonderful people. Just wonderful, and they love children. Oh my God, they love
So I
children.
have a question. So you married, he came here, and then
We
how did you
started our
be
tour company
pretty soon after?
a year afterwards. Yeah, he started it. He started after we had Olivia. So H is Hamdi, L is Laurie, O is Olivia. So HLO Tours. We started it right after our daughter
Okay.
was, and we were still in New York at the time. We were living in New York for like 3 years, and then we moved to Florida. And I've been here for like 36, 37 years in Florida. 36, I think. So yeah. And
And
he,
so to go on your tours, I guess you have a website,
yeah,
HLO Tours, and
HLO
go on
Tours.
there.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
And
Yeah.
they,
sounds like it will be a very personable tour
oh,
because
Very
he
much.
does
It's
know the
not a
land.
weekend tour. It's not like a Gates travel or something like, a big tour where you're in with 40 people and a huge bus or two buses, and they're very cheap, but they don't include a lot of stuff. And we're a 5-star hotel. We don't do 4-star hotels. We're a
Right.
luxury tour operator. So if you ever look at like an Abercrombie and Kent, we do the same exact thing that Abercrombie and Kent does, and we charge half the amount of money because the
Abercrombie, I've
overhead is
never heard of
big.
that. Abercrombie, okay.
Oh yeah. Or
Fabulous.
Kensington Tours. That's another high-end tour operator. So we do the exact same things that they do, only we don't have the overhead that they have. So
Right.
yeah, and you
Oh,
get a
this is
really, yeah, you
exciting.
get a really personalized experience. I mean, you go to Hamdi's home. I mean, he welcomed us into his home, and his family made us this beautiful meal, and
Best food.
it was the most amazing food, and you sit out on the upper terrace, and it was just so lovely and so warm. All the kids are running around, and they want to, and the younger Egyptians, of course, they need to learn English to be relevant
Hmm.
in the modern world. We are kind of fortunate being born where we are, that English is spoken, all around the world. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's an amazing experience. So where
Yeah.
else did you go this year, Laurie, though? You went because your son is.
Yeah, so yeah, my son is a singer. He's a performer, and he has performed in Japan at Universal Studios Japan, and he has just came back from a 1-year contract in Hong Kong, performing at Disney there. He was home for like 4 or 5 months, and then he got another contract in Hong Kong just for 2 months this time. So he's there right now. He's there as a caroler out in Disney.
Oh,
What is
So
cool.
his name?
Omar, no
Oh,
singer.
now on your tours, how often do you go in a year?
We try to do one a year. We will do two, possibly three. Hamdi, when he was younger, he did three a year. He had the teachers that out of Denver that would do 2 to 3 a year that he would go on, and they were like 20, 21 to 26 people on those.
Oh, wow.
So we were planning, what we were planning on doing in May, we were going to go to Morocco. I don't know what's happening with that one. But in August, we are going to Kenya and Tanzania. And he will be going back to Egypt in May also. So we will do Egypt anytime from May, June, July, around there. And then he'll probably be going back again in October, November. So we'll do another tour there. While he's there, it's easy for him to do the tours, to escort.
What are the best months for Egypt, though? Is it going to be too hot in August?
It's very hot in August. It's very, very hot. But there's
May is
less.
probably best. May.
April, May are the best months, and then September, October, November. That's high season. December also, December, January, but it's going to be very expensive again because that's the holidays. So
Right.
that's expensive. But probably the most reasonably priced time is going to be September, October, beginning of November.
Okay. And
Okay.
the
And
weather's
the
good.
weather's beautiful there.
Okay.
But you have the people. See, you gotta weigh it out. Do you care if it's super crowded, or would you prefer it less crowded and very hot,
Yeah.
or super crowded and it's still hot, but it's not very
Yeah, I went in November. Me and my small group, we went in November, and that particular year had been warmer,
yeah,
because the climates are changing everywhere. It's getting really just odd everywhere. But
yeah.
I can't. I mean, it was crowded and it was warm, but you also had longer hours of daylight, so we were able to adjust sometimes and go tour places a little bit later, early evening, and kind of have the midday when it was the most hot, kind of as a break, kind of as being off, so to speak, and rest.
And
And
when you go on the Nile cruise, it's no matter what time of year you go, it's Aswan and Luxor, it's Upper Egypt, and it's very hot. It's the mean temperature there is like 90, 80, 85 to 90. Summertime it goes up to 100. But they compensate for that. You go very, very early in the morning. We're leaving at like 6 in the morning to start our tours, and we're back by 10. And then you go back to the cruise boat and you can relax. The cruise boat is air conditioned. You can sit out on the deck by the pool where, as you're going down the Nile, air is blowing on you so you don't feel it. And it's undercover as well, so you don't have that sun coming down. Or you can just stay in the boat and, have coffee or play games or whatever you want. So it's not horrible. It's not that bad. You just get a good sun hat. We needed
Yeah.
sun, and we should have had umbrellas too. Next time, I thought of that.
Oh, yeah, that's true, because we could have left them
Um,
and just left them in the van.
Yeah.
the umbrellas are pretty nice for that heat.
Yeah, they are pretty handy for that. But
And little
Grand
fans.
Egyptian Museum I heard just opened too.
Just opened. The only thing that I went there when I was it April? I went there in April. So everything
Oh,
was opened except for King Tut. And now
okay.
they
Oh,
just opened King Tut. And you and I went, and it was, we just went, it was just the first floor that you didn't
Yeah,
really see anything.
right.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh,
It's just,
really?
oh yeah. I think there are three floors up, but there are different rooms. I think there were four to six rooms on each floor, and each one's like a dynasty. So you start
Oh,
off with
okay.
the oldest dynasty and you end up with the newest dynasty. So
mm.
chronologically, it's incredible. If you've ever been to the Old Egyptian Museum, it's no air conditioning, and they didn't have enough space. So everything was crowded in there. You didn't really get a chance to absorb anything. Well, this one, it's all spread out and very
Wow.
well labeled, and it's interactive with a lot of like videos and computers and stuff like that. So walls are moving. They're telling stories like
Oh my gosh.
hieroglyphics and pharaohs fighting and stuff. It's amazing what they've done. Just amazing.
That's
So
incredible.
that's something, if you ever go back, you
Yes.
really
Oh,
need to see
yeah.
that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it exceeded my expectations. I never ever thought.
Wow.
And they said that what's in King Tut's area is a lot of the stuff that they had in storage that they couldn't show because there was just no room in the other museum. So it's probably twice as much as what
Wow.
was in the original Egyptian museum.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just incredible.
that's
Wow.
it's almost like that should be a whole day tour because if you go for 2 to 3 hours, it's just you can see the highlights of it, but you'd have to go
Mhm.
back on your own, like have a free afternoon,
Right.
a free day to just explore it on your own. And you don't need, it's nice to have a guide that will explain it, but really everything is written down there and it's very well documented so you can see what you're looking at.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fabulous. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. So Egypt we do pretty much any time during the year. We'll do Egypt, but the big trips like Africa, we're going to do Kenya and Tanzania in August. And then next year, I'd like to do South Africa. So that one would have to be since they're upside down.
Oh, that's
They're
right. It's opposite.
yeah. So their winter is our summer. When we went, I think we went in May. So even though I think that is that their fall or
That would probably be
yeah,
their fall
that
one,
was their
maybe.
fall. That would be their
Yeah.
fall. So it was just starting to get cold. Um, where like when we were in the safari, they
Oh,
put
wow.
hot water bottles and blankets on us while we were in the safari
Oh,
vehicle.
really? Oh,
Because
wow.
we had to go out very early in the morning. The animals are
Right.
active in the morning.
Right. Oh,
So
Yeah.
when you go on your tours, are these tours like 10-day tours or
There,
it depends?
you could do it as little as 10 days in Egypt, but I think that that's kind of rushed and you should really add 2 to 3 days on that so you don't have to be as rushed. You can do half day tours instead of full day tours and take some time off in between because there's a lot to
I like
see.
to. So like a 15-day tour.
Yeah, it's like 15 days. I think that that's probably 15 days, 14, 15 days for Egypt, and then 15, 16 days for Africa.
yeah.
Mhm.
And also that the Moroccan tour, I think that was what,
That was like 10 to, was it?
yeah, and it should have, it can go longer because we were just so rushed in that I think that if we give it to you again, I would like to make it longer where you stay more than one night in one place, and that way you're not rushed. And it's going to cost a little bit more, but at least you're not going to be not know where you are, like,
Right,
It's
right.
nice to be in a place for 2 days
yes,
Yes.
at
and
least
then
two,
move
I
on,
think so.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
because
that
you,
what you'll be
yeah.
doing in Egypt?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
usually like 2 nights at the beginning um, in Cairo, and then we go on the Nile cruise, which is 4 nights, 5 days,
oh.
and then we come back to Egypt, to Cairo, and we took a 1 night in Alexandria,
Which I
and
think that would be a place too to expand to 2 nights.
2 nights.
Alexandria really
There's a lot of
surprised
stuff.
me. Well,
Yeah,
and it was really unexpected for I think people like my idea of Egypt and what I was going to experience. I mean, Alexandria being on the coast and the fresh fish and the food and the library and just everything there. And there's probably more. I mean, because we were
there was
there.
more. Yeah, we didn't see all of it.
Right, right.
We didn't see the well, we did see the catacombs, but there's someplace
Yeah.
over by the bridge that's like
Mm.
it's
That's right. Yeah, there was.
which we didn't go to. It was underwater, all the
Oh,
antiquities.
yes.
So yeah,
Hmm.
there is more. And then the place that we stayed was just gorgeous, the Palestine
Oh,
Hotel.
it was
And
incredible. And the
yeah,
view and the beach and yeah, so that would be a place to
at
definitely.
night. Yeah.
But I agree with you, traveler. I even for my New England tour this past year, in the past it was kind of like, try to see as much and you have as many of the experiences as you can, like I like to include a night on the Maine coast and a couple nights in Vermont and then New Hampshire, but it was like in the past I was like just kind of going and this year I redesigned it and the group I had, we stayed 2 nights in each location so that you could enjoy the room that you have on the main
At
coastline and
least, yeah.
yeah and
Mhm.
being by the little cove with the boats and then same thing in Vermont, waking up and there's a farm and someone's making you breakfast and the trees and so yeah it going forward I mean I think that's how I'm going to continue doing my New England tours as well is just slow it down a little so people have time to just
Right.
sit on their patio or go for a walk or have some time to do what it is to just soak it in because otherwise you feel like you're just rushing and then by the end you're like, you
I
know,
need a vacation.
why or what did I see? Like April,
What did I see?
yeah,
Yeah.
where did I take this picture, April? Where was this tree and
Yeah.
where was Robert Frost buried and where was this and so
That would be fun at night, like after the tours and stuff, to get the group together and talk about what you saw in the
yes,
pictures and maybe label your pictures. If somebody doesn't remember, another person will. And that way you get to remember all this stuff. Because, yeah, you see all this stuff, and then what did I see? What did I see?
right, right, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's kind of nice at the end of the day to kind of add that in, kind of regroup and
Yeah,
whether it's my group or Hamday with his group because sometimes it's like it takes a little while you see something like we went into the tombs in Egypt and then it's like you kind of have to ponder it for a minute and then you have a question and then you're like and if you're constantly like oh gosh I got to get to bed because I got to get up early tomorrow and same thing with being in New England there's a lot in all these little states that is history and authors and all of the things that we think of with New England and sampling maple syrup and so yes by the end of the day it's nice to kind of slow down and I always go in autumn that's my favorite season there I think it's just iconic and it's a must do and
One of the things that I did this year, if you look at our pictures when we go on vacation, it's just a whole bunch of pictures, right?
right
15 pictures of a church.
right
right.
So what I did, we under notes in my phone, I put the date, day one, day two, day three. What was the highlight of that day? So I
Yeah.
just made a couple little notes and just added a few pictures so that I will remember, oh, that's what I did on Tuesday. That's where we went.
yes
And it
yeah
helps instead of looking at all these pictures, I just go day one, day two. Oh, that's what we did. And that
That's
helped. Just logging it on the
yeah,
side.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
yeah or what I sometimes suggest too is like and I'm a postcard person, so it's like if I pick up postcards,
Yes.
like just take a short postcard. It doesn't have to be a lot of things, but at dinner while you're with the other people, maybe you can share some of the things and make a little note on there and like basically address the postcard to yourself, put the date on it, and even if you don't mail it, tuck it into your bag. And now by the end of the trip, you have a nice little collection of like, oh yeah, that's what I did that day, or I really liked X, and oh, this random person we met, told us about that, or, you know,
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like
like that. I like that idea. I buy the postcards because I like just to have a good picture of them, but I
yeah,
don't write anything on there. So that would be a good idea. Just a little note.
yeah,
Someone I
just a
met that
note.
day or that day
Right.
that I went.
Or
Yeah.
even exactly so, an impression you have. Another thing I've tried to do is, maybe write an impression before that day. Like if hey, today we're going to go see, King Tut's where the tombs are, and what's that going to be like, and what you think, and then at the end of the day, how did you really feel? I mean,
live
I
up to
feel
your
like
Yeah.
expectations.
I feel like I got really brave in Egypt. I mean, Egypt was a place I never thought I'd actually end up going, but my father really wanted to go. So we went as part of another group with, and had Laurie and Hamdi to it. But yeah, it's like one morning they went out to do the hot air balloons, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I've never, ever been
I
in a hot
know.
air balloon. And I decided, what an amazing view of Egypt. And so I'm like, all
Oh,
right,
I want
I'm
to do that.
going. I told my dad, I'm like,
I'm going to do that the next time I'm there in
are you?
Luxor. Yes, I
Oh,
am, because you got some great pictures.
and it
Your
was
dad was
just
showing
so
pictures.
much fun, and it was beautiful, and it was peaceful, and they have it really well organized. The pilots are really well. They have to be trained
Right.
pilots, and there's
Tours,
a lot. I
tours.
mean,
Yeah.
and I think like to Laurie's point too, tourism is such a big part of Egypt's economy. They have
Mm.
a lot of safety measures in place. I mean, like they had a van that took us out there. They had people soon as, and they have it timed. Balloons are going up at slightly different times and coming down, and it was very well orchestrated. I was amazed.
Yeah. Yeah. I was amazed that it was like such incredible pictures of the tombs that you saw when
Yes.
you were over the Western Desert, and I had no idea the aerial view of that.
Yeah, it was
So
stunning and really peaceful, and it wasn't as scary as I thought it might have been. Like I said, it's a bigger basket that's like
yeah,
divided into little
yeah.
little
Um,
units. So there's three. I think they kind of put 2 to 3 people in each little
they go
basket.
by, they probably will go
Yeah,
by
yeah.
weight.
I
Yes.
did that in Tanzania. Tanzania, yes.
Wow.
And I had the chance to do it twice before that, and I had a panic attack both times. We paid for it, ready to go, and just as I said, I can't do it, I can't do it.
Right.
And the third time, I thought I might never get back here again. I've got to be brave and do it, and I did. And I'm thinking, I can't believe I didn't do it those other 2 times. This
Right.
was the most incredible experience. I wasn't scared at all. Once I
Well,
got in
and
there and we were up, I was fine.
yes, yeah.
Just that was it. That was and I'm mad at myself that I didn't push myself the other 2 times because I missed that experience.
But
And is
just
this
as
like an excursion on now with the tour, but aside from the tour?
It's an
It
called an
depends.
optional. It's an
Oh no.
optional tour that you can choose to do or you not choose to do. And if you don't do it, you'll have breakfast at the hotel, and then the group goes out very early morning and they go on their thing, and then they have breakfast in Africa. They make them breakfast on the burners of the things that go in there. They make
Oh,
a full English breakfast.
oh my goodness,
Have that with
wow.
mimosas, and they set up portalets out there with like three curtains, and the last one, so you're hoping there's nobody with a camera
Yeah.
in the,
Yeah, the
but
balloons
it's
that
private. It's private. If they want to look, let them look. Who cares? But yeah, it was yeah, just great. So then we meet the group back there again, and then we go on to the next destination.
mhm.
well, to see the animals from up high like that too, that
The
must have been the
migration is, oh
migration,
my
right?
God, yes, the migration. You see the thousands of animals going.
Because
Yeah,
that again, you get that different view that you can't get on the ground of just how
exactly.
many animals are moving across an area and just to
Yeah,
view that. I mean,
So that must be like a really a must do excursion,
exactly. And
right?
that's why I kick myself that I didn't do it those other two times because it definitely was a once in a, well, could have been three times in a lifetime, but once in a lifetime um, event. And I'm so happy I did it because hopefully this time in August I'll be doing it again next year. So yeah,
yeah. Oh wow. Fabulous. Well,
yeah.
you guys, it's basically the end of the hour, so we're going to wrap up and we'll be doing this again. I scheduled one for Tuesday, I think it is Tuesday, and then I'll have other dates. So I've got emails, so I'll just send out a notification and hopefully we'll have more chats about travel and where we want to go maybe in 2026 and how to get
Yeah.
there and all of that. So thank you
And
so much.
April, what is your tour
Yeah,
name
it's
or
it's under fallphototrips.com.
full photos?
Fall Photo Trips. I should have put
Okay.
that up there.
Okay.
And it's also under thetravelcollective.com too. So, but I'll send you an email. I'll make sure you have
Okay.
the info and I'll send you Laurie's information as well because
Oh, perfect.
Egypt is it's an amazing place and I think
Okay.
must be experienced and I think it really makes a difference on who you choose to do it with too, what your impressions are, what you
Well,
leave
especially
with.
after listening to the story.
Yeah. It is, right? It is. It's wonderful. I
What a
mean,
story.
and to have that personalized experience. I mean, you're not going to
Yeah.
get that with a big company. They're not going to be taking you to a small village. And if they are, it's not that personal. It's going to be feeling like you're going to a museum and walking through
Right.
it, so to speak, a
Yeah.
show as such, like a dinner show versus real people wanting to know who you are and
And this
make
is
you
why
a
we
meal.
travel to really see how
Yeah.
people are
And
in
make
other
new
places.
friends. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So thank you all so much.
Okay,
And
sounds
Thank
good.
you. It was nice meeting you.
yeah, nice to
Nice meeting
meet
you.
you. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.